perfect.
Really?
No. Again!
Can DreamWorks achieve a rare feat to create a third film of a series that is actually good? Hi, welcome to Cinema Journal, and this is my first impression of the latest animated film, Kung Fu Panda 3. The story continues as Po, voiced once again by Jack Black, has been assigned to be a teacher at the Jade Palace by Master Sifu, voiced by Dustin Hoffman, as a way to send Po on a new path of discovery for the Dragon Warrior. While Po tries to understand the vague meaning behind the lesson, he is reunited with his long-lost father, Li Shan, voiced by Bryan Cranston. But as Po leaves with his father to the hidden panda village in order to learn to harness chi, a new evil threat appears in the form of Kai, voiced by J.K. Simmons, a warrior from the spirit realm who was also Master Oogway's once friend turned nemesis, who managed to come to the world of the living to steal the souls of Kung Fu masters. With many of his friends held captive by the evil spirit, and with the help of Tigress, his two fathers, and the whole panda village, Po must take the next step in his journey in order to save the day once again. I walked into a screening of this film already a fan of the series. Initially, I dismissed the first one as I wasn't impressed by DreamWorks with their animated films, finding them inferior to Pixar. But when I heard people say how good it really is, and being a fan of Kung Fu films, most notably with Jackie Chan, I decided on the whim to buy a copy of it on DVD. After I finished watching it, I felt really stupid of myself to have missed it in the theaters, as I thought it was not only a fun and entertaining movie, but a rather thoughtful film with its messages and how it uses philosophy to tell this story instead of relying on low-class humor or asinine storytelling. I enjoyed it so much that I told myself not to miss the next one in theaters, and I loved it even more so that I went to see it twice. So there is an expectation in me when it comes to the next film, especially when DreamWorks had announced that they are planning of expanding the series to 6, which is very audacious. And considering that it's not relatively a very marketable franchise compared to, say, Cars, Frozen, Despicable Me, or any other animated properties out there, I actually felt a little excited and a little nervous about it. Having seen the two films many times, I do feel that they got the characters exactly where they want them, an understanding of where they want the story to go, and they clearly have an interest in not just the Kung Fu aspects in terms of the physical form, but also in the philosophical aspects of it, as if to give some credence to a series that could have easily become something juvenile in the first place. However, almost like a rules of threes in Hollywood, a third film in a series tend to be not as good or even bad compared to the previous films. Of course, there were exceptions, and that is what I was hoping for with this one. As long as it is good, that's all I care about. Well, as far as I can see, the consensus seems to be a general sigh of relief in terms of its quality, but the mentality seems to be of, it's good, but not great. Me, I think that it just falls just a tiny bit short of the first two films. But I still think it is a great movie. The film does act as if it is continuing with the story of Po, and while he still acts as he always does, he's still a great warrior, and even though he has proven himself to be the most capable as a Kung Fu master, it also shows that he still has so much to learn, and that there is still more room for improvement and growth. And it finally introduced a key element of Kung Fu, the art of harnessing chi, which I didn't realize it was missing in the first two films. And as promised in the last film, we finally get to see the pandas as Po is reunited with his real father, Li Shan, and of course we get a new bad guy coming to town with Kai. With all of these elements coming together, not only did it create a well-told story that is full of themes, but it also connects with the two previous films to tie up loose ends, making a trilogy of films that feels fuller and richer, almost on a Lord of the Rings level in terms of character and storytelling. It may not be as grand and epic, but it has that feeling of it like one can watch all three films in one sitting and feel as if you're watching one movie. I was amazed by how well the creators managed to handle that and actually show me that the people behind these movies really do care much about the series. The tone of the film is certainly the most comical and light-hearted, more so than the first one, but I didn't feel that it is as heavily emotional as the second film, and it might have to do with the characterization of the new villain, Kai. While conceptually he is the most fearsome foe of the series with his use of spiritual power that only increases with each Kung Fu master he captures and even uses them at his own disposal against our heroes, they do give him a running gag in how nobody seems to remember who he was, and thankfully they didn't overplay it too much, but it is rather amusing. However, I do feel that the beautiful artwork and animation that is abundant in the first two films felt lacking in this one except for the final 10 minutes, which is very stunning. It's still great animation, but the style seemed to go for the more dynamic side with its visual and colors, and seemed to be used to score more laughs if nothing else. It's not something I have a problem with, and it is amusing, but I guess I just missed the look of the previous films. So by that admission, I would say that it is, for me, the weakest of the trilogy, but that's not really saying much. I still thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end. It's fun, touching, it does right with its storytelling, and I think it does most of the characters justice. So overall, I think it is a great film. Just not an amazing one. Still, it hasn't dampened my excitement for a possible fourth film, which feels as if, much like Poe's journey, the story is just only beginning.